Thank you. And to you, Shannon, to
Thank
you
you.
for all the success and the voice you give to so many issues. Thank you for that.
Thank you very
And
much.
cheers to you.
Cheers.
And
One more
I'm
time.
not going to actually drink this because I might fall asleep. And I need to do this
I don't want you
with
to fall
Barack
asleep.
Obama this afternoon.
We don't want you to.
Hey guys, so we got a new video today. We got Miss Kamala Harris doing an interview with Shannon Sharp. So let's go ahead and see what lies she's telling today. Or, you know what, let me just go ahead and give her a chance. Let's see if she speaks about anything that is relevant to presidency and what she's gonna do if she gets in office. What is she? Well, yeah, I keep forgetting she's already technically in office as a vice president. This be blowing my mind. But let's see what she says about her ideas and policies that she would put into place as a president if she was to receive that title.
You here, so I want to thank you very much.
I thank you.
When we have guests come on, Madam VP, we like to toast. And what I read on this card, you don't deserve this. You earned this. Being the first in so many areas. And you make us proud. I just want you to know you make us proud for what you've been able to accomplish. And we're 12 days away, and we hope you have an even greater accomplishment. So here's to continue success in everything you've done and everything that you will do.
Oh, bless you. And thank you. And to you, Shannon, to you for all the success and the voice you give to so many issues. Thank you for that.
Thank you very
And
much.
cheers to you.
Cheers.
And
One more
I'm
time.
not going to actually drink this because I might fall asleep. And I need to do this
I don't want you to
with
fall
Barack
asleep.
Obama this afternoon.
We don't want you to fall
So
asleep.
here we are. Cheers to everybody.
So before we get into the things that you want to do once you become president of the United States, I want to go back. When you found out when President Biden called you and said that he was no longer going to seek re-election, and you got that call, do you remember where you were and what you thought when you heard him say these words to you?
I do. So I was home.
Lie number one, she didn't get no call. Everybody know that they forced that man out of that position, out of that spot. They knew dang on well that they weren't going to be able to utilize him anymore to control the narrative because his mind was just going away and he was declining, and they needed someone else to fill that spot. And to be honest, I think that this her coming up has been the plan all along. I just think that, it was meant for that to happen, but yeah, I don't think that he called her. No.
Sunday
Do y'all think he called her?
afternoon. And my niece, her husband, and their two young daughters were visiting and staying with us. And I promised the kids I'd have pancakes and bacon and everything.
Okay.
And then after that, I had a puzzle for the kids, and we were sitting down to do the puzzle.
Okay.
And the phone rang.
Okay.
And it was President Biden. And so that's when he told me. And it was obviously life-changing in so many ways. But, I have to tell you, Shannon, I at that moment, I knew what it would mean, but not in the detail of it, but I certainly understood the seriousness and the gravity of the moment. And actually, one of the first people I called was my pastor.
Wow. Okay.
I knew I needed a moment to just be still and for my spirit and my mind to have clarity about the seriousness of the moment and my role. And I'll never forget that call or that moment or that day.
Your life instantaneously changed.
Is it me, or ever since that whole religious situation that went on where she was supposed to show up to a dinner and she didn't, if I'm not mistaken, and then she did the little religious campaign with that was very, I felt like, disrespectful to religion in general, the way she did it with the little Catholic girl guy. And ever since then, she's just been talking about, I had to call my pastor, or I called my spiritual advisor. It's like, now you bringing up a lot of you calling up your pastor. You weren't really saying much of this or really honing into this whole religious thing before. Why now? And I'm gonna tell you right now, 9 times out of 10, probably if she's Indian, she doesn't believe in just the one God. I think in Indian culture, it's the multiple gods, right? Hinduism. So I have some Indian people that I know and love dearly, but I do know that I don't think that she's like Christian or anything. But it seems like she's been milking this whole religion thing since that whole, situation.
Moment.
Yes, it did.
Because now all of a sudden you weren't going to be running, you weren't going to be the VP anymore. You were going to be front and center.
Right.
And you knew what the undertaking, having been 4 years as the vice president, what that moment would mean.
Mm-hmm. I had a sense of it, like so many of us, when you this is your life, right? So there are those moments where your instinct kicks in, sometimes before your conscious mind and thoughts do.
Right.
And my instinct kicked in immediately that I need to focus and I need to do certain things immediately, which included making, I think we estimated I made over 100 calls that day. My team, and I have an incredible team, all came in, and nobody expected, right? It was a Sunday afternoon.
Correct.
In fact, we actually joked who had taken a shower that day. Because, people came in their workout clothes,
Right.
different people, and, a bandana around their head, just, and came in, and we then, for hours and hours, well into the night.
Did you tell them? Did you tell them why you had summoned them to come to your place? Did you give them that news, or were you waiting for them to get there to share that news with them?
Well, so the news started to, as you
leak
can
out.
imagine, pretty much immediately, and but of the many blessings that I have and have had, one of them is an incredible team of people around me. You know what that's like,
Yes.
where they're just there and they will rise to a moment. And no matter how high that moment is, or meaning how serious it is. And what I love, and it's certainly my own work ethic, that there is no job too small or too big. If there's something that needs to get done.
So although you have
Y'all know how when y'all doing an essay and the teacher tell you that it got to be so many 5,000 words or 15,000 words or whatever the case may be. You know how you just start trying to fill in an essay with just a bunch of words. Every time she talks, that's what it sounds like. It sounds like she's just trying to fill in space with a bunch of words.
a huge role now. What's a typical day like for you now once you've been thrust into this? What time are you normally getting to bed? What time are you getting up? And what's some of the activities that you do in a given day?
I'd probably estimate 14-hour, 15-hour days.
Okay.
When I wake up, no matter how little sleep or how much sleep I've had, I work out every morning.
Okay.
Because
Yes.
it's like mind, body, and spirit, right? And then, and that's the only time in my day I really own. And then it is, these days, it's not unusual for me to be in 3 or even 4 cities in one day. Rallies with thousands of people, 10,000 people showing up. Making calls to folks. Just now I landed in Atlanta, the mayor of Atlanta, who greets me every single time. So I'll talk with elected leaders who are supportive about, so for example, here in Atlanta, what do we need to do to make sure that we're giving folks the resources to knock on doors and remind folks of the power of their voice? And 12 days in, it really is a lot about trying to focus on getting folks to know their power, to not let anybody suppress or silence their voice, and to vote.
Right. So breakfast. What does Madam VP eat for breakfast, or do you have time to, or is it on the go?
No, when I was younger, I didn't think I needed breakfast. I wasn't a breakfast eater.
Okay.
Now I have breakfast every morning. It's usually a spinach omelet. It's not very exciting.
Right.
But it's protein with a little vegetable. And, I like chicken, apple sausage, and some toast. And then I'm gone.
Madam VP, you're a couple of years older than myself, so we kind of
Thank
grew up
you.
in the 80s. But I'm only 35.
Come on now, I'm your guest.
No, but you only 30. But we we grew up.
But just keep moving, because I'm gonna give you a shovel in a minute.
I see. You won't let it go. Dang. We could have just moved on past that real quick, but you drew attention to it. But we grew up in the 70s with music.
Yes.
Went in fire. Ohio players.
Oh yes, fire. Come on.
Oh, you were like fire.
Come on.
Okay.
Dun, dun, dun,
Yes.
dun, 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 dun.
Yes. What do you listen to now?
Oh, I wish I were listening to more music, to be honest with you, because I love it. Just, but
You don't
when
have downtime? Like when you have downtime?
I don't have any downtime really.
What about Quavo? Her good friend Quavo. She don't listen to none of their music. What about her cool girl Megan Thee Stallion that she brought on stage to body yada yada everywhere? No Beyonce. Because last time I checked, Beyonce was at her rally in Houston, right? What about all these celebrities that she just, get to talk on her behalf? You're not listening to any of their music, girl?
I know my little violin I'm playing right now with you. I really don't. But when I love jazz. Mm-hmm. If it's from Thelonious Monk to Miles Davis. Mm-hmm. I love Aretha. I was just with Stevie.
Right.
Stevie's, can I tell you?
Yes, you can.
Bucket list. Stevie Wonder on my birthday sang me happy birthday.
Happy
birthday to me.
Oh my.
Can you imagine?
No.
I was literally, it was surreal. Can you, a bucket list moment?
Right.
When Stevie Wonder himself sings you happy birthday?
As an 18-year-old,
yeah.
Could you imagine
Never.
Your life would have been like this?
Never.
This many years
Never.
later?
And let me tell you, my mother she had every Stevie and every Aretha Franklin record, every album, like literally every one of them. So Songs in the Key of Life, like all those Stevie songs that were about everything from the movement to optimism. I would have never, at 18, thought that he'd be singing me happy birthday. Ever. Never.
That's the least, but obviously everybody knows who Stevie is. He was a child prodigy, 13 years old, and he was doing great things. But to see, Madam VP, what you've been able to do, you've had so many firsts. The first woman attorney general, African American, Asian American descent. You was the DA of San Francisco. You were the first Indian American U.S. senator.
And second black woman ever in the history of the United States Senate elected. Second in the history of the United States Senate.
Have you had an opportunity to...
These are just titles, guys. These are just titles. Not to take away from what she have achieved in her career, but I want you guys to know that they're just titles, and at the end of the day, we're not focused on what title you've achieved. We're more focused on where your heart is when it comes to this country and for the people. And I'm still not, I'm not convinced. I'm not trying to be convinced necessarily, because I already understand or have heard the direction that she's going in. And it just doesn't sound like she's invested in the country. It sounds more like she's invested just in general in herself, and not just from this video, but multiple things that I've heard her say out of her mouth, and then certain lies, and then certain things that she reneged on, and then other things that just was ingenuine, which again, we all say that we understand when a person is being ingenuine to us, but yet we have a vice president who's very ingenuine, and it seems like a lot of people can't see that. But as far as running this country, do I think she can do any other position? Absolutely. Do I think that she should run this country? Absolutely not. And that's just where I'm at with that. The society that we live in today, people are emotional driven rather than logic driven, and if you can get a person's emotions all out of whack, you can pretty much convince them of anything. If a person is mad, I can convince them to go throw a brick through somebody's car. If a person is happy, I can go convince them to spend all of their money. If a person is sad, I can convince them to stay in the house and eat their life away. Like, you can convince a person and mess with their psyche on anything when it comes to their emotions. And even though you can, doesn't mean that you should. That's not right. As far as my country, I just want someone who loves God, who truly cares about the country. Every time I hear them talk, I don't want to hear what necessarily they can do for themselves, but what they're going to do for this country. And I feel like every time I hear Donald Trump talk, he's talking about the country. Every time I hear her talk, it's just more of, just things that you want to hear, things that'll tickle your ears, not things that's actually going to be for the help of the people or the help of the country. More of promoting your selfish desires that don't actually help anybody else besides yourself. Like she said, your power. And she wants you to use your power of voting to put her in office so that she can use her power and people above her to control the narrative of how things are going to go in this country. Yeah, I just don't see her being a fit for our presidency. But what do you guys think? Put it in the comments. Make sure you guys be respectful to each other. It's okay to debate, but debate appropriately. All right, I will see you guys in my next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the notification bell to get updates when I post my next video. All right, guys, stay blessed.